Greetings, I am Margot Blair, and I'm here today at the Power Up Conference with Take the Lead Women. I'm super grateful for Gloria and Felicia's vision and for the invitation for me to share my experience on the power of collaboration. We're going to be talking about how collaboration takes women further than competition. As well, I'm going to be sharing my 4-step framework on how to collaborate with intention. How are we doing this morning? I don't think I felt that. How are we doing this morning? There we go. We are at the Power Up Conference, specifically for women. So I need us to be and stand in our truth, okay? For this conversation, we're going to be talking about the power of collaboration. So the reality of it is, when it comes to partnership, I just wanted to take a moment and share who I am, my background. So as a partnership strategist, I work alongside event curators and nonprofit leaders, helping them secure partnerships for their events. And so what that really means is helping them design partnership strategies that are going to help them make significant impacts through their experiences. And so I want you to take a second to think about what comes to your mind when you hear the word collaboration. As you're thinking about that, what has been your biggest challenge? Just go ahead and throw out some of those things. What has been your biggest challenge when it's come to collaboration? Buy-in. Go ahead. What else? Incentives.
Insecure people who don't want to collaborate.
Insecure people. Communication, there's so many. And so I want us to look at these pictures. When we see collaboration, it is multiple people coming together for a specific vision to make significant impact. And so one of the things that I want you to keep in mind is from the late Maya Angelou. Ask for what you want and be prepared to get it. So for the learning objectives that we're going to be focusing on today are 2 specific areas. How collaboration takes women further than competition. As well, I'm going to be walking you through the 4 strategies that I have continued to apply over the last several years that will allow you to establish quality partnerships to make those significant impacts. And remember, by the end of this conversation, our goal is to establish and be intentional through the mode of collaboration. So let's look at this right here. I want us to think about why we don't collaborate effectively. It really comes down to 2 reasons. As nonprofit leaders, again, just real quick, show of hands, we did this a little bit earlier. The nonprofit leaders, so many times we find ourselves competing for the same exact resources. Rather than coming to the table and saying, this is the vision, this is my vision, here are my skills, and finding ways to go ahead and pool those resources and then making the impact. So the other side of this is the mean girl syndrome. How many can attest to this one? They've tried to partner, they tried to connect with somebody or an organization, but they felt like they were being an outcast, or they felt that they were being pushed aside, or they weren't even being taken serious. So what ends up happening when we fail to collaborate, we end up identifying with some of these feelings. I don't know if you can see them all the way in the back, but we end up feeling isolated. We end up feeling unsupported. We end up feeling unsuccessful in certain cases. We end up feeling devalued as well. We end up being exhausted, because what we end up doing when we don't collaborate with others as women, we pull up our bootstraps and we get to work anyway, because we have been called for a specific purpose. And the reality of it is the work is still going to get done. So I want to give you a few tips that are going to help you change your perspective a little bit when we're talking about intentional collaboration. It's the 4 ways to establish partnerships. Due to time, we're only going to be talking about 2. The first 2. Evaluating your partner potential, and this first one works whether you are a nonprofit, whether you are a business leader, or whether you are in the corporate sector. The second is leveraging your professional assets. And trust me, we all have them. The reality of it is collaboration and partnerships take different places. If you can see these pictures, the reality of what you see here is the time that is required to establish quality relationships, the time that it requires to gain the skills, the knowledge, and the experience that you have around your belt. And so I want us to first start out with evaluating your partner potential. So if you aren't taking notes yet, you definitely want to go ahead and grab your pen. When we're talking about evaluating your partner potential, the reality of it here is really making it clear for yourself and the people that you want to work with, where is your current state? Where are you right now? But what is your future state? You have to have a clear vision of where you want to go in order for you to reach that destination. And so the reality of it here is the conversation around deconstructing the end goal and then starting from this point forward. The other side of this is the personality habits that we see here, the personal habits. The reality of this is I want you to understand your personal habits become your business principles. Your personal habits become your business principles. So if these are some of the 6 main qualities, when I'm working with my clients, I end up seeing them come up. And so I want you, if you resonate with any of these, I want you to begin to rate yourself. Where do you align with these personal habits? Because again, they can become your business principles. I want to take more time to focus on leveraging your professional assets. Here's the interesting piece. When we're talking about leveraging your assets, I really want you to look at your resume. What skills, what qualities do you bring to the table? When we're talking about your leveraging your professional assets, your personal assets are your education, your experience, whether academic or otherwise. But then the professional assets are the people who are in your network. Look around the room. There are tons of people here that you can begin to leverage your assets and begin to make those imprints that you want to make. So I want you to take a moment to ask yourself, who do you already know? Industry leaders, collaborative partners, the people in your support systems. What are their skills? What do they bring to the table? And then who do you need to know? Begin to make that list as well. And then here's the flip side. Who knows you? So I want you to take another moment and ask yourself, what perceptions do others have about you? I want that to sink in. What perceptions do others have about you? And then how do you show up in the room? I make it a point that regardless of whatever room I go into, that I'm intentional about connecting with 3 to 4 people. I don't try and get everybody's business card in the room, but 3 to 4 people. But here's what happens prior to that. I do my research. Some people in the group saw it, but I'm a professional stalker. And I wear that badge proudly. Why? Because I am required to really know who and why I want to connect with another person. And I want to encourage you to do that same thing. The reality of it is the end goal of partnership, of collaboration. For us, for my organization, is to be able to bridge generational gaps. In order to bridge those gaps, we want to connect with other people who have a similar mission or whose missions align with ours. And so I want you to take the time as you're becoming more intentional, as you establish the relationships with those who can help you reach your goal and those you can help reach their goals, that you take time to ask yourself this final question. How do others see you living your legacy that you want to leave behind? And my gift to you, as my time comes to a close, for the nonprofit leaders in the room, if you are looking to establish those quality partnerships, and even if you are not a nonprofit leader, there are some tangible steps that we just went over, but the two that are missing are right here. And I'm connecting this back directly to what we learned throughout the nonprofit program hosted by Take the Lead, 50 Women Can. The reality of this is you have to wear your shirts. You have to know your story, and you have to be willing to show up. Thank you so much. Continue making impact.